So here is the one thing that you need to know about guitar pedals or any music equipment at all for that matter. The audio signal from your guitar cable and your guitar itself all the way through to your amplifier is a very complex signal. And usually you're going through multiple pedals and possibly even rack effects. You're going into an amplifier of some sort. The amp may have an effects loop in it if you're going through that. There's a whole variety of factors of what affects your guitar tone. So when you're thinking about getting a guitar pedal or an amp or anything, or even a set of pickups, the thing you got to remember is when you're hearing from opinions from people about what is good and what is bad, usually, they're taking that opinion based on the context of their own setup. They've got their own amp that they always play through. They've got their, their own set of pickups they always use, and signal chain, the whole bit. That can be night and day from what yours is. I've got pedals that if I run them in front of a given amp, they'll sound terrible. But yet if I put it in front of another amp, it just sounds fantastic. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Some of it has to do with compression of what's going on in the amp with the tubes. Some of it can be the EQ curve of the amp itself. I mean, there's a lot of different factors. But the main point that I'm trying to get across to you here is what happens a lot of times is people are looking to get something and they go online and they read reviews about it from people. Some guy will have a review and just say, oh, this thing sounds horrible and I can't stand it. And, somebody else just takes that as that it's just, gospel, and they just figure that it's a horrible pedal, or vice versa. Somebody can say this is the most amazing pedal in the world, and then they get it home and they plug it straight into their super clean twin, and now it doesn't sound like, this guy that reviewed it playing through his Marshall. So, just you got to bear that in mind. So when you're hearing things from people, you kind of got to take it as a grain of salt. I mean, you definitely want to get input from people, and especially knowledgeable people that play through enough gear and effects well enough to tell whether any given piece of gear has something majorly wrong with it that you should just definitely avoid. But mainly what I'm saying is you got to trust your own ear, and you got to try something with your own setup and with what you have. And you may be really surprised. I've played a lot of stuff that, and I've even heard other players too, where it's a given pedal that to me I don't think it sounds very well, very good, but yet you hear somebody else plug it into their setup and it sounds amazing, and vice versa. So basically I would just say, I don't want to say take everything that you hear, with a grain of salt, but, you do need to keep it in perspective as far as, the quality of some of the stuff that you're listening to. Trust your own ears. If you can get a hold of it, put it with your setup, do that. But gear is definitely important. And you got to find the tone that you hear in your head. If you've got, I know Steve Vai says that, tone starts in your head. And I think that that's so true. It really does start in your head. You've got a concept of what you think a good tone is. And then you're kind of hunting after that. And you're finding through experimentation what gear is going to give you that sound that you're looking for. So, you might be surprised. I mean, I've had pickups recommended to me from people. I've put them in a guitar, and then it's just not been at all what I was looking for. Pulled them back out, put something else in, and experimented over and over till I got the sound of exactly what I'm looking for in my mind. And again, it's complex because it's the combination of all of those pedals that you use and everything else. So somebody else may think it's amazing, but again, they got a totally different rig. So anyway, I'll leave you with that, and good luck chasing tone.